This is the Almost Daily Zencast. Hello, and Namaste. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I am your humble host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Let's get started.
You sometimes have moments when you deeply realize that you've made a choice, maybe even sort of identified with that choice, but you haven't really spoken it out loud, even to yourself in the privacy of your own talk to yourself out loud space, wherever that is. And I just sort of did that to myself. I'm looking at my Instagram feed, and I get a lot of silly, meaningless notifications that I barely glance at just to clear the notification. And I hadn't really looked at who's been following me on Instagram very closely at all. So I thought I'd take a minute. And a couple were athletes. Like, I get a lot of yoga folks that are like, oh, this account is cool. I like this account. I'm going to heart and maybe share some of these sometimes because they're up my vibe. I'm a very vibe person. Yoga people understand what I'm talking about pretty intuitively if they do yoga very... even people who do yoga commercially, not to sound like I'm judging or making distinctions because I'm not. I'm very unattached to any of this, you guys. But even people who do yoga commercially generally tend to lean towards some general exposure to transcendental cosmic thinking about energies and chakras. And there's keystone things that they're at least aware of, right? So I'm always intrigued by people who are approaching me, find me interesting, and maybe aren't like that. But I also don't want to project, I guess the flip side of being like, I know that there's some audience groups, categories that will understand some of the language that I use because it comes from a root source that they're getting their, their basic yoga training from and the yoga culture that they're immersed in. But I'm using it radically different than some of those people are. And also, I don't want to project as though I'm some master yogini. I learned yoga in acting class. So, for anybody who, listens and is like, oh, you must do a lot of yoga. I'm like, no, I don't. I used to. I have done yoga. I've had some very deep body experiences of, from doing yoga over time. Not just the one time, but doing it, as a practice. But I don't currently, except that I sort of maintain a little bit of the basic actor, like spine stretch, like derivative yoga that we all do, that we all sort of probably know. And the actor knows how to like roll down into child's pose from, standing erect and doing like a bit of stretchy things. And then get back up. Like a ragdoll puppet. What do you call those toys? They're really dumb, sort of cutesy wootsy, almost meaningless toys, but you can do cool shit with them if you're really. It's just like a rubber band through a toy made of small bits that are like not really connected, but the rubber band pulls them together. And when you push the button on the bottom of it, it collapses. You can make those dance and stuff, which is neat. But anyways. Our bodies, we were trained to make our bodies like that, as supple, at least in this particular weird, mainstream acting school that I went to. And thus, my point is, it's interesting. I get a lot of athlete types that click on me and like, oh, I like what he's talking about. A lot of vegans think that and I worry that these audience groups might, find something that I say about compassion and love and transcending politics, transcending the problems that we've created, not with more of the same nonsense, but by connecting at that multi-dimensional level that we've all been conditioned to look away from. A lot of cynical people who are really foreign to the language of the topics that I'm discussing and that I'm sharing about, and that I'm trying to sort of insinuate in some sort of pop culturally accessible way, get wigged out and go, how can you fix anything with meditation? And it's like, well, easy. by meditating. The rest of it sort of does its thing on its own, and we don't have to understand it because it's sort of like the leaf. It'd be like two leaves arguing about whether or not the roots, they have anything to do with where the roots grow. I'm like, yes and no, but yes, but no. So just shut up and be busy being a good leaf and give that sunlight, get that energy into you, which is what leaves do, right? They catch sunlight and then transmute that energy into usable substances for the growth of new cellular material. Guess what, humanity? All of life does that at a metastructural level that has to do less with sunlight and more with higher frequency bandwidth energies that we can't visually perceive directly. Not right now, not the way we live in this robot-like, dumbed-down, sheeple brainwashing. And we've all, you know what, people who argue about who's been brainwashed and who hasn't been brainwashed, everybody got the brainwashing. Everybody got the brainwashing. So we are all realizing elements of it, and some of us are in deep trauma about it. Some of us are like, ha ha, and being assholes about it. And we all got to chill the fuck out and realize that everybody got the brainwashing treatment, and all of it, however confusing it is less about the politics that we're caught up in arguing about, which is meaningless. Don't argue about politics anymore. It's the distraction. That is the ruse. The brainwashing that everyone in every country got is to distract you away from understanding that you're like a leaf on a tree, debating things that need not debate, and by in that debate not doing a very good job of being a good human being, which has got responsibilities and a list of tasks that we aren't aware of. Because we've been conditioned away from thinking about these things trans-dimensionally, trans-enlightenment. You know, we're just told that that's all malarkey. Guess what? It's not. It's verifiable. It's measurable. It's there. The species-wide energy frequency network is accessible, and you can realize that you too, just like many, many, many people before us in history, can perceive that your own body is not the entirety of you, and that aspects of you, that which is perceiving your phenomena that you call your life, resides in a deeper, wider, broader, higher, for lack of better terms, because the words fail, because they're things that English can't functionally describe. That which is really you is perceiving those things from a place not quite located at all inside your body. And all of that is, quite astounding and radical and crazy sounding, but you can phenomenologically, directly, personally experience it. And one of the steps towards getting there, besides meditation, is just sort of like general abdication of all the things that we cling to. There's a lot to it, and as you, my friends, probably are aware, I enjoy rambling about it. I just wanted to capture that particular idea because it's like filing a field report, because I'm not actually set up to do a live broadcast right now, or else I could have done it and it would have been short, I suppose. But I didn't want to go that way. I just recorded it. I gotta go because I have to run errands. Tune in for more. Tune in later. Tune in now. Back to you, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo on the main desk live. There we go. I don't know. I have to listen to that and edit it and or stop talking now.
And that is what I've got to say about that. As always, thank you kindly for listening. This has been the Almost Daily Zencast with your humble host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Until next time, may peace, love, and grooviness blossom in your heart.